of my immediate mission when I go into a classroom is to communicate the subject matter to them. And I think partly that's to communicate to them in a way that convinces them that it's a fascinating subject, that it's amazing, a miraculous subject, and I really enjoy biochemistry. I'm still fascinated by it and new discoveries and how it all works. So I want students to get a sense of how exciting it is.
So biochemistry is really about studying all the things in the cell that are making things happen, that perform the functions of the cells. Like, we're really focused on proteins and DNA and lipids and sugars, and those are all the things that are performing functions and making stuff happen, and that's really cool.
I really like that it's sort of like a small, close-knit bunch of people, so we all get to know each other really well. And we're all in the same classes, and so we can really get help from each other and everything. And then also we all know our professors pretty well, which is really helpful, and they're all really willing to help you out in any way.
It's a very rewarding thing to be a part of the university culture in general, and the department in particular. There are fantastic research opportunities for students and for other members of the department. The undergraduate degree program is very strong, and we really try and create a rounded environment of research and education within the department and within the faculty and within the university in general.
Biochemistry is kind of a foundation science subject. Almost all students in the Faculty of Science end up taking at least one biochemistry course, and also students in other faculties as well. And so when they're taking that biochemistry course, it's important for them to understand why and how biochemistry relates to their disciplines. We have students from kinesiology and nutrition, many of the other science disciplines, even chemistry students are encouraged to take some biochemistry. And I think it is an important foundation science. It fits in a lot of different places. And so part of my role is to relate what they're learning to the disciplines that they're interested in, particularly students who are really required to take biochemistry and don't yet really understand why, and to them it's just another program obligation and they think they're going to hate it. Part of our work on the introductory program development, Biochem 200, was to provide an introductory course that actually communicates a love of the subject and helps foster an interest in it.
In the case of a lot of our students, like Robin and Kayla, you really get to see them develop over the course of the time that they're in our classrooms, and then we spend a lot of time with them in the laboratory. We're in there for 8 hours a week, interacting with them and really getting to know them. We get to hear feedback about what their experience was in taking our lecture classes, and then from there the next step after that is to go on and do their directed research projects, and you really can see the flow and the development of many of these students, and you see them moving from really from novice to expert researchers, so that by the time you leave the program they really are ready to step into potential research positions as either graduate students or in other capacities.
So the department really does place all facets of student learning at the forefront of its mission. And to exemplify that with a few relevant facts and figures, for example, we teach biochemistry to all students requiring this discipline at the University of Alberta, and this translates to teaching of something like 2,500 undergraduate students and graduate students each year.
One of the things I can truly say that doesn't waver is my interactions with the students in our program. They never cease to amaze me at how clever they are. when they do the research projects, the passion and enthusiasm they bring to it is truly amazing. I love interacting with them. I love their energy and enthusiasm, and yeah, they make it worthwhile for me coming to work in the morning.
Well, graduate level education is quite different from the undergraduate level education in so much as it's really focused on having people learn how to think and how to perform rather than simply having knowledge and facts.
I really enjoy graduate studies because it's a great challenge. So it can be incredibly self-directed, and it really gives you a chance to really explore different things. Gives you a chance to learn and to discover, and I think in a different way than other programs in the past. So as an undergraduate student, you're really focused on learning what the professor's trying to teach you and learning what is written in the book. But in graduate studies, you really get a chance to, I guess, go outside of that kind of box and try to discover and learn something new, and use different skills than simply book learning.
So the main reason that I chose to pursue graduate school is because during my undergrad I found that I had a curiosity as to, well, I've had a long-standing curiosity as to how the body works, but then I found this excitement that comes with being at the limit of that knowledge, of how the body works, and working to chip away at that limit to create new knowledge.
Well, I really like how you're free, not completely free, but within reason. As a young scientist, you should be able to formulate your own hypotheses, come up with your own experimental protocols, examine your results by yourself without having somebody constantly looking over your shoulder. That being said, I also like how we have polite and positive guidance, most importantly.
Our graduate program is very diverse. We have students from many different countries: Pakistan, China, India, several European countries, a few from the United States, South America, Mexico. It's really a very diverse swath of people from around the world. And the primary reason that they have come to the University of Alberta and the Department of Biochemistry is because of the expertise to be found here. There are world-class scientists within the Department of Biochemistry who offer just training opportunities that are extraordinary.
I am from India, and the reason why I decided to come here for my grad studies was majorly because the department funds the grad students pretty well. As an international student, paying your tuition and everything is pretty expensive. Any financial help from the department is a big morale booster of sorts. It's more of a support for you to focus more on the research, and I don't have to worry about working off campus or trying to get money to pay my tuition and stuff. Or also the fact that I wanted to move out of my house and be independent for a bit.
Actually, and I originally wanted to be a zookeeper when I was a little kid, but then I realized the zookeepers really just shovel poop, and decided that wouldn't be the greatest career choice. So I moved on to zoology, being very interested in animals and how complex things like animals or humans would work. And then I realized in high school that what really fascinated me about life was the complexity of what's happening on a molecular level. And I realized that what I really want to do is I want to learn and discover and do something that nobody has done before. And I feel that graduate studies allows you to pursue a career where you can continue to do that for the rest of your life. Whether it's in industry or in academia or some other type of career, having this level of training that graduate school gives you that opportunity to always be in control of what you're doing. And I think that's very exciting. I don't want to be a button pusher or a paper shuffler for the rest of my life. I want to continue to learn and discover, and I feel that grad studies lets you do that.
We have an excellent department and an excellent program, which is part of the reason why we attract very high quality graduate students. And the education and the training they get in our program has allowed them to be extremely successful.
So the department recognizes that first and foremost that great academic institutions are really built mainly on the strength of their people. And we really cherish innovative thinking and pioneering research of real gravitas in this department, and essentially work together as a team in this academic endeavor.
My only role as an educator is to allow people to discover how much they know and how to learn more. I'm kind of direct people with questions. I don't provide answers. I don't know more than anybody else in the lab, because anybody is working a particular project, what they know, they have to be the experts. And it's difficult to convince people when they're starting to do research that actually, indeed, anywhere in the world, nobody will know more of what you're doing than yourself.
We've accomplished a lot. We've changed our targets as they advance, as we've developed a lot. But it's the research itself. And then I think it's mostly the working with the graduate students, with the undergraduates that come into the lab, with the postdoctoral fellows. I really love working alongside, developing ideas and methods, working on results, publishing papers, speaking at meetings. It's just a wonderful thing to be doing. It's a very satisfying thing to be doing.
All science fields are expanding so quickly that it is impossible for any one lab, or even discipline for that matter, to work in isolation. What is becoming more common these days in the research realm are projects getting inputs from numerous specialties, with discoveries being made more so by groups instead of individual labs. Individual people are increasingly being trained to become experts in, or at least acquire an appreciation in, several fields.
I think there is a great benefit by doing curiosity-driven research, and I think that's what most of us like to do. But more and more everybody is asking for translation, and that we should take our ideas into an applied region, perhaps collaborate with colleagues who have those applications, particularly medical applications in our case. And more we're trying to make sure that what we discover in the lab is translated into the bedside.
Because biochemistry is such an interdisciplinary and translational field, undergrads from virtually any science background would be extremely well suited to complete their PhD in our program. That being said, I have a few principles I feel any undergraduate should consider before selecting a grad school program. Ultimately, because it is you who is going to be putting in a lot of effort and are ultimately responsible for the outcome of your work, you have to make your project your own. It's a major commitment, and if the work is something that is truly of your own inspiration, you'll be energetic and efficient at what it is you do. Finding that niche will take a lot of help, so ask how your interests and ambitions can be accommodated by asking multiple departments and professors before you decide on grad school.
You are the world expert on what you're doing because you are doing it. It's just a process of growth. So of course it starts by very close direction, and the farther they advance in the program, the farther that you move away and you let people explore and find out. Of course, it's everything. I mean, when you don't know what you're doing, which is the case when we're starting something, we don't know how far it can go and so forth. So we need the direction of somebody. That's my role, to say, well, this is unrealistic, this is a good idea, well, this is a good idea, but, and so forth. So the direction is important, but it's very important to let the people grow on their own.
Look for a lab that will support you and encourage the growth of your intellectual independence. This is what makes this department a forefront. The forefront of research, forefront of student engagement, and the forefront of student enjoyment in their graduate studies. In the end, you'll be making an important, albeit an extremely tiny contribution to human knowledge, but overall, your work, along with that of countless others, will in one way or another lead to something better for the greater good.
The thing is, we're searching not for the answers sit in front of us. We're searching for the questions. What is this telling us?
Science is fantastic. I love it. It's very important. However, science is overrated. And I want to make it quite clear. Rocket science is not science, it's development. I like driving my car, but there is no science in there. That's development. Science is a series of protocols to find answers to questions. That's all what it is. Extremely powerful. We have developed vaccines, we have developed many anti-cancer drugs, we have come to understand how the body works. I can't tell you all the things that we have achieved through science. Having said that, the only driving force in science is really pushing the envelope and curiosity. Of course, has to have a role. It's our job to make sure that we understand, we take from society, we have to give things back, but that's science. If I can tell you what I'm going to do in 2 years, that's development, which is very important too, but it's a different area. So don't get confused. As my wife actually told me, if you like to find solutions, go to industry. If you like to find problems, go into academia and do research, because that's our job. We have to find problems that are worth solving. That's our job.